All right, guys. Um, so I hope you can hear me well enough. It is January the 12th, 2024. It's about 10:46 p.m. And I'm running out of steam for the day, but I said I'm going to do one of these videos every single day, and we can either make a code or we can look at something that I learned today. So I learned a few things today about coding with TradeStation. So we'll go over those real quick, and then yeah, we'll call it a day. I don't know that we'll make another code, but today the codes that I've been showing you that have been working pretty well for the last week or two for SPY and ES didn't work so well today. Well, let's check it out. So I'm looking on the 5-minute time frame, and we'll open this up. So on the 5-minute time frame, we said that these blue dots tended. Actually, they didn't do a bad job, right? So I got the blue dot here. I think on the SPY, this blue dot showed up right here, and I actually took that, and I got in about here, and I took profit up here. I knew that this was fairly aggressive, so I didn't expect for it to go too far. But on ES, it shows up here. So was this made for ES or SPY? So this was actually made for ES. So really, I need to take it off of this one because ES and SPY, while they're very similar, they are different. And the volume is different. The length of the bars, the tails, everything is a little bit different. So do have to be careful about, again, like I said, when you make a script, it works pretty well for one instrument. It doesn't have a lot of crossover and carryover into multiple different instruments. All right, so the next thing is so the main thing is that I was looking at the wrong one there. But on the SPY, we got no, huh? I thought the blue dot came up on this one. Well, Now I'm a bit bewildered because I thought it came up here because I remember getting in and then it going up. So I'm not sure what time frame I was looking at now. But I do know that it worked at least once. The moral of the story, though, like I said, is that it wasn't super effective today. I don't know what this script did on today. Let's see. Looked like it took a lot of L's on the 1-minute time frame. I think this is the one that we put together last night, a couple days ago. So let's see what it did. Obviously, it did very poorly today, but yeah, that's all over the place. All right, so I mean, even if it was optimized, I don't think. I mean, because these are longs. So if it's trying to take a bunch of long, what is going on? If it's trying to take a bunch of longs in this downtrend, then it's destined to fail. What is this one? 1 minute long for January the 9th. And again, now some of these scripts that I do, and I'll have to start coding, I'll have to start labeling them a little bit better. Some of them that I make, they're specifically made to not get in when you find this entry. They're specifically made to get in once you find a blue dot here. Then you're supposed to get in over here. Now, I didn't notice that. I did not notice that there was a red dot at the very top, which if I had noticed that, that would have been cool, right? Because so the red dot definitely hit today. The red dot is the shorting dot to short the SPY, and the red dot did work very well. My gosh. But the blue dot wasn't great at a pullback here, but the blue dots did give us the bottom of the larger move there. Blue dot here, not so much. I don't know what this line is here. Bear drop. Looks like I've got some other information on it. There's a blue line that's plotted there. Okay. If you get a value bar date minus open, then plot 6 low. Okay, so that should be, plot 6 should be like a dot or something. Make it a cross. And don't connect it. Make that the default. Hit yes. Okay. Get this back out of here. Unless you take the unless you take the script completely off of the chart and then reapply it, it won't take effect for those changes that I just put in. However, the changes I put in did make them so that they are effectively the defaults. So we still have to go here and go to style, plot 6, go to cross, don't connect, hit OK, and then boom. Okay. All right. I don't really need that on. I think there I was just working on finding some values for when the stock is under the descending resistance, but I wasn't doing anything with it at the time. So okay. All right, so we'll get that off. If I can. I need to be able to, well, need to be able to turn that off. That is here. If trend, so we're saying if the value of the trend for that current bar is under the open, so we're saying that the open is over the trend line, then we want to plot that. So we'll also say if show, we'll put show over trend, and okay, and this is one thing that I started doing today. So again, like every day I'm doing something a little bit better, a little bit more refined to my scripts. So we put input show, this will be a Boolean, so it'll be true or false, show over trend, and then we'll put we'll start off putting this false, so it'll be initialized as false, and we'll put that. And so one of the new things I'm doing, so initially one of the new things I'm doing is just simply using the input so that I can turn parameters on and off without going into the code to adjust it, right? Or to turn things on or off. All right, so show over trend false, and then just to give us a reminder of what we show over trend is, we'll put display name equals true to show when candles are over plotted trend. All that won't fit, and you'll see what I mean here in a second. So I really shouldn't have done that, but tooltip. I was putting tooltips, but it's tooltip, and then this will just be true or false, and then close brackets. That should be good to go. All right, good. It is. All right, we're gonna cancel that. Okay, so you see that it went away. So now, and that's on this same study here with that descending trend. Was it? Yes, bear drop. Should be. Yes, bear drop. Yeah. Inputs. There we go. All right, see, So you see here, everything I typed in, it was like that long. So really, when you do display name, it should probably be shorter. True to show when what? Even if you hover over it, it doesn't give you the entire display name. It just gives you the tip. The tip was true or false. Okay, so if we type in true, we'll get those lines to come up. And so what those marks are saying is that once we get a descending trend line, and now the open of these candles are over the descending trend line, it'll pop up with these indicators. So it just gives you an idea that you are over a significant trend line. So if you were thinking about taking a long through here, you might hold your horses. And actually this trend line, the data points are here to here. And it probably didn't even show up on the chart until you got here or here or here or somewhere. And then, like I said, these values here let you know that you're over the trend line. So you might consider taking one of those because you're over, or wait for that retracement back into this general area in here. This wick down, this tweezer bottom down in this general area. And look how many candles you have down in there. And they're all showing you that they're over top of this trend line. Now this trend line here, after it moves up, now you get a new trend line that shows up with the script. Okay. And these are already firing because they're over this one. Now this line doesn't show up because the point is here and it's got a swing point of so many bars. So it probably does, this line probably doesn't even show up till you get out here. Okay. And yeah, so now these bars are over top of that line. Okay. What is this line? This is a different one. This is ES Bear Drop Spy. This is Spy Descending Trend Line, 5 minute show me. This is ES Bear Drop Spy. Okay, so this is a different script than this one is. Even they're different, have different strengths. So we could turn, and I have yet to figure out what I want to focus on, which levels, what the strength of the swings. So you see we have the descending trend line for the 5 minute show me. I think this might be the one that I like better. Maybe. We'll get rid of that one. That gets rid of that one. I put it for the 5 minute show me, so maybe that's the one I like better. I don't know. Okay. And just kind of looking at this right here, I probably need to put that these trend lines are not based on the high, that they're based on the close. They're based on the close. Yeah. All right. I'll look at that sometime. Okay. One of the things I did want to talk to you about today is on one of the scripts I actually made on the 15 tick chart. I did something with time span. So some of you guys will love this and some of you would think it's just absurd. But let me see. Hang on, I'm gonna pull up a video of the chart and how it moved today, and then we'll move forward. Actually, I might be able to do it like this. Oh, you couldn't see my script anyway. All right, hang tight. All right, we are going to pull up the video of Screenshots, videos, spy. That was a session today. All right, so this is what I had today. All right, now we got the audio back. All right, I lost you for quite a bit there, clearly. All right. I gotta do better with that daggone microphone. All right, so just kind of going back here, what I was saying was that I came up with a script that would look at these bars, these values are the ratio between the bars and the bars and the time, right? So at an interval of every so many bars, I'd have it plot a time, right? I'd have a plot of time. Have a plot of time. And so I was just looking to see, if that would change or how it changed when we got toward peaks, swing lows, swing highs. And so that's why I recorded the screen so I can go back and replay it later. And then also I wanted to replay, the market action, market activity. Yeah, remember, which that's odd too. I'm gonna have to look back at that. You see that blue dot there? That's what I was telling you guys, is that this is on ES. The blue dot showed up here, and I took that entry, I took it going up, right? Look, here, take the entry going up. Here, going up. But so now when we look at ES now, it's it is not showing it there. Unless I've shortened the chart. No, 15 days back. After hours is on. Well, it's ES. It's got after hours. So I don't know about that. I'm very that's very curious. That's very interesting. And I know I didn't change the script between now and then. I'm gonna have to find out about that. And I know that some of the times they will make corrections on the charts at the end of the day. So maybe they made a correction on the chart, and then that correction, a lot of times is like volume. They made a correction on the volume, and then the volume changed. And when the volume changed, it threw off the moving average. And when the moving average changed, it threw off my entry. You know what? Let me see. It'd probably be hard to really see it well, but I bet I could see some of. All right, so that one is under, slightly higher, lower line, and then top. Under, slightly higher, lower line, and then top. I don't know. I don't know why that's screwy. And then the moving averages, you got this red one crosses where the green and blue cross, and green. Yeah, I mean, it looks about the same. So I don't know, but I don't like that. I really don't like that, because that's that kind of defeats the whole purpose of having a supercomputer to crunch the data. If the data is going to move on you, yeah, that's very that's a little concerning there. So I'll send that to the trade station folks and ask them what they think. But the only other thing that I probably wanted to talk about tonight was that when you are using your scripts, because I made a script for the tick chart, and I'm not sure if it was here on the SPY, but I made a script for the tick chart, and I was trying to tell you I was working on the working on the timer, and I use the timer from TradeStation. I use their version of one, and it has a loop in it. And it ended up, when I applied it, it again just kind of froze the computer up. So, and then it started making it work fairly slow on the chart. So I wanted to pull up the script utilization, so the easy language utilization, and I couldn't find how to pull it up. And I even looked in the help and everything. I couldn't find how to pull it up. And then it dawned on me, right? So you just right click on the chart, go to settings, and then you go to easy language utilization monitor. Okay, and from there, I call my setup Eagle Vision. All right. And now I've never played with this before, so this is my first time looking at it, but Eagle Vision Mesh Desk is using 99% of the calculation distribution. Why would it be doing that? Mesh Desk? Okay, and now it's not. Okay, so it's jumping around. Okay, so now, then it was SPY. All right, and there's a 15 tick chart. Okay, so you see the utilization there. And again, if you're having something that's taking up a lot of your bandwidth, then you're probably going to want to come here and see what's drawing your computer down, and then you can close that chart. Or looks like it has it down to the scripts, right? So you got the workspace. Like I said, you have your scripts here, but it has it down to the script. If you got one script that's just kind of wearing your computer out, then can you do anything here? Columns, expand, collapse. I guess you just go over to your workspace, and then you close it. So Mesh Desk, if I want to do something there, can I double click that? No. Can I double click this? Nope. Okay, so clicking in this area or right clicking or nothing like that, it won't take you directly to the workspace or to the script. So you will have to go and manually go to it, it appears. Analysis technique. This would be very interesting for me to do during the day when everything is running, to see what's using the most. Here it is. Percentage of total easy language resources currently being used. All right, and this is currently though, so it's not doing it right now because the market is shut down. But total time spent by since the analysis technique has been running, and I had this shut down, and then I just pulled it back up here about an hour or so ago. So usually I leave this computer running all day long. But so it hasn't used much in the way of the computer's bandwidth. All right, I want to try one more thing, and instead of making a script tonight, I'm gonna try that. So sorry if you were expecting me to work on a script tonight. All right, put that on the 5-minute. Does that give us anything useful? All right, and then this is one of those scripts where, like we did last night, that was something new that we did last night. We talked about putting something in the code so that we could have it only work on a certain day. And so I need to make that into a sticky note and put it on the computer, but I ain't done that. So instead of drawing all these on every single day, let's put something in here to make it only draw on a certain day. All right, so this is everything that we're using to draw with. So we're going to also put and date equals show date. All right, and then we'll go up here. and we're going to put input show date. We'll say oh shucks, let's put it for today, 124. You have to put the number of years since 1990 or since 1900. So 124 years, and then first month, 12 days. Okay, and then that's, yeah. Okay, so this will be show date and show date. Show date, yeah, date equals show date. Okay. Then do this. Then do all this. Okay. And now on the one that we did yesterday, we put an else on there. Else, if it's blank, then apply it to everything. So I think that takes a lot on the computer though, because pretty much we just had to copy this and then redo it. So this goes from here to here. So it would go something like copy, take this colon off of here, and else, paste that again, else if date equals 0, then begin. So then we do everything, else if date equals 0 and these other ones, because we still need that initial criteria. And those other ones then. Okay, All right, that's 0. Let's try that. Okay, so works so far. All right, so, and we initialized it to just be in today. So we only got that one line for today. Let's make sure that is a script that we were looking at. Is that the one? Is that the one? Swing ratio? Man, because that thing made a friggin' mess. Made a mess everywhere. Yeah, that's it. Swing ratio. Okay. All right. So out of all those lines on the chart, it only gave us 2 for today. All right, and so it pretty much tells us the ratio, right? So it gave us a swing point at the descending trend line from the top to that one. All right, and then it gives us the amount of time that traversed. I feel like we need it to give us a little bit more information, but we'll do that another time. Okay, so now you can double click on this, hit yes, and then when it says show date, since we have the date here today, if we want to make that yesterday's date, make that the 11th, and then hit OK. And now instead of, who is this guy? Okay, so that's a different one. 15-second trend time span. We're going to get him out of there. Get out of there. All right, so then instead of today, it plotting information for today, it plotted it for yesterday. Okay, and I think that this trend line is too steep. It's not really effective. It's so steep that it's primarily giving you a upper resistance line and not like a trend line to break. So that value is too high. And that swing high value is 15. So we want to make that 10. We're going to assign length to show swing length. Length will equal swing length. And this is something that you have to do. Let me tell it to you this way. I'm putting this here, and then I'm going to put an input of show length, and then we're going to make that 10. If you have something in input, you cannot then change this variable later in your script. When you declare it as an input, it has to stay as that input, right? And I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense because if you have it as an input and then you come out here into your chart and you change that number here, well, but your script actually changed it later, then that's not fair to you out here on the chart, because the number that you put really means nothing because the script is doing its own thing. So if you have an input, you can only change it from the chart, from the input settings in the chart. If you want to change your variable from within the script, then it has to have its own variable. It has to be declared somewhere else, and it is. Length is declared here. We're using show length, so you can change that outside the chart. We're going to assign that to length. And the only reason why I'm doing it this way is so that I don't have to go back in here and change all these. And then the other thing is you can modify this length, right? So it can, I might have another variable in here that'll be like value 4, and it'll equal length times 4, right? And so we can essentially change this length value. This length value was what? Swing length or show length. And show length started off up here. So again, you just can't change the one that you are inputting. Okay. Dang it. That should have been swing length. Okay. Because it's the length of the swing. It's the length of the pivot. All right. So we declared that. All right. So now that that swing length is 10, now we get some other points. And I almost want to start this script at 9 o'clock or 9:30 instead of doing pre-market hours, and we get in this jazz. Now we can do something like, if it's pre-market, we're going to make it black, right? So we'll color it, and so that we won't get confused when the market starts. We won't get confused and say, oh man, all these things are blue, I just don't know what's going on. Well, if you see that they're black, then you'll know that they're coming from pre-market, and you may not give them as much credence. So we'll say that the first, we got to do them both. Trend L dot, so we have to say if time is less than 09, I'll say 35, then trend L dot color equals color dot black. I think I can do that. Else color dot blue. It did not like that. So do I have to do? Oh, I gotta redo it. Some of it is some redundancy, but for the most part, Easy Language is, yeah, I mean, I like it. I like it. Or maybe that's because I've been working with it for so long now. It's become my second language. All right, you see how this one turned black? Is that black? Jesus. Time for me to go to bed. Is that black? That looks purple or something. All right, but anyway, this is black. Okay. So yeah, and even this trend line, I mean, to me, that's not useful. This is no good. So yeah. What if it were, instead of 8, 10, we'll make it 8 or 7. Didn't change it by much because it's still gonna fire this one, and it definitely got that one. So like I said, I probably will need to go and update the script so that it starts taking swing points at 9:30. And I've gotten pretty good at this stuff, but I don't know if I can do that quick enough. and date. Let's just see. And time is greater than 0932. Okay, well, that one's still fired. That's because we have this one down here. And again, and time is greater than 0932. And okay, yeah. See, that one's still fired. 840. Date and time, and that, then that. And that. Well, technically, it's just saying that you shouldn't draw your trend until after 932. You can still count your swings before 932. So we have to only count swings after 932. If the swing is different than the one before it, yeah. So if time is greater than 0932 and the swing, boom, 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 that should have done it. Let's see. If the time is greater than 932 and the swing is different than one ago, then you're going to count a new high. With the exception of, we also need to restart the count of the high, which is here, during pre-market hours. So at 9:30, we need to restart the count of the high. Yeah. Because otherwise, if you already have a one that, if you already got your first swing high back here somewhere before 932, and then you get your second one after 932, then it'll still fire. All right, so we got our first swing high before 932, and then 932, at 932, and from then on, it just says you can only draw your line if you're after 932. So we already got our first point, so we don't care about the 932 for capturing our first point. We already have our first point. We just need to get our second point and draw it, which we do. We get our second point here, but we draw it, from here. So, yeah. So we need to say that if time equals 0930, then count H equals 0. Okay. And that should have done it, folks. Count H. $932. Oh. 9 o'clock. 9:30. Some of the times when you're on these different bars, like 1 minute, 5 minute, 15-second bar, something like that, when you put the time in, if it doesn't fall on the right time, then it will not will not work with you. So greater than signs work best for that. So I don't have that here. But I got a feeling, though, that 930 should be okay for that. So if time is greater than 0925 and time is less than 0935. Nope, that's not it. All right, well, that's going to be something that I have to work on, because that count H should be 0124 810. And this is the debugging process that nobody wants to do. Print if date equals 124 11 0111 and time is greater than 08 and time is less than 010, then print count. We're going to print the bar. We're going to print the bar number and the count. And the count H. Okay, so we're going to print what we've got and see if we can. And I'm thinking that I'm also getting data from another script. And if you have multiple scripts turned on with print, then you will get some prints from your other scripts, and that will seriously throw you off. So let's also put the time on here. And so we're looking for 835 to see if we get a count H of 1. $835, we get a count H of 2, and it did not reset. See, 845, 850, 855, 9 o'clock. This count H of 2 should have been reset, right? Because we told it to reset out this thing. So count H. You see up here, we told it to reset. We told it to reset to 0. Just a bar before it. Well, technically we didn't. 925, I told it to reset. Well, but I told it to reset in here, so it should have reset in there. All right, so I told it to reset by what? Between 925 and 935. So let's go to 925. Okay, so 925 to 935, it did reset. It went from 2 to 0, right? So how come it registered at 940 that it was still 2? Because at 940, it's got to be 2 or greater in order for you to draw the line. Unless I just need to refresh the screen. Nope. Okay, well. Because in order for it to gotcha. Is that it? Why is that 2? If count, well, one thing's for sure, that count H needs to be greater than or equal to 2 and not just 2. I do know that just from working on some of these scripts over the past week or two, that should be greater than or equal to 2 and not just 2. So we need to change that and then verify it. Okay, when we verified it, then it disappeared. So did we lose everything though? No, we didn't lose everything. All right, but we did lose that. So let's see now what in the world is going on. Let's go back here and then make sure that it's still on. It was this one, swing ratio to time, 1240. We're going to put 0. So technically, if we put 0, it should show up on all the charts, right? It should show up on all the days. And it's not showing up on any day. So, oh, well, that's not an equal sign. So that's a problem. Okay, still not showing up. That's not it. If count is greater than or equal to 2, okay. If time is greater than 932 and swing have that is different than that, then count H plus 1. If swing is less than that, then count H equals 2. It equals 2. Now it shouldn't equal 2. This right here, we would be saying that if we got a lower low, or excuse me, if we got a lower high, then we're going to assign 2 to it. We don't want to assign 2 to it if we get a lower high. We just want to assign another 1 to the count H, which we've already done here. So we don't need this to say this. We just need this to say this right here, and it does. Okay, that's why everything kept coming up 2. Okay. All right, so if count H is greater than or equal to 2 and swing high P is less than the one before it, and the date of the show and time is greater than 932, then begin. Okay. All right, that's one of those scripts I kind of threw together, so, going back and fixing it up. But Lord, does it need to be fixed? Because apparently it's still throwing me some issues. Date is 0 and time is greater than 932 and count H is greater than or equal to 2 and swing high is less than the one before it, then we're gonna do the trend. Okay, if we get a new swing high, then that should restart also. If we get a new swing, then count S restarts. Yep. And then count S counts every bar. Yep. Count A we shouldn't really need. If swing high is greater than 0 and swing high P is equal to swing high, else swing high P is swing high P of 1 ago, 925 and less than 935, then count H equals 0. All right, if time is greater than 932, and swing high P is different than the one before it, then we're going to count H plus equals 1. Yep. And then by the time we get to count H equaling 2 and we have a lower swing high and the date is equal to the show date and the time is greater than 932, which I think at this point we don't even need the 932 because we have it above. All right. Let's go up here and change that number, see if that helps. Show date, we're going to put it for today, 124.01, 12. We're going to put a length of 10. So it should have gave us something for today. Yeah, okay, it did. It worked. All right, good stuff, good stuff. Okay, but now the problem now that I saw is that when we put 0 here, we should get lines drawn on every day. And we don't. So how come we're not getting lines on every day? Because we said an else if date is 0. So it should be identical to this one up here to just say the date is 0. Well, we'll get rid of the time because again, the time is referenced up above with the counts. So that's just null and void. It's redundant. Else if date is equal to 0 and count H is greater than or equal to and swing high P is less than that of 1 ago, which is these two criteria, greater than or equal to 2, swing high P, date equals 0. This begin, then begin, end. Count H. I'm thinking that we're messing around and resetting the counts because we got into here into begin and then we ended it. Date, then begin, end. I think we're doing these also before we go to no, we're not. Okay, this is the begin, end here. And this covers all the way to here. So this shouldn't be happening unless this whole thing is happening. Else, if date, begin. All right, and that's exactly the same, so there shouldn't be an issue there. Yeah. Show date is just being transferred to okay, gotcha. Else if date equals 0, not date, but show date. Okay. All right, I got you. All right, I'm a little slick. I ain't too slick. I'm a little slick. All right, and so we got that, and we did get some pre-market stuff here. And so maybe we do need to add that part that says that if the time is prior to 9:35, you see how this came in before 9 o'clock? Yeah, because I guess we reset our count H in here 8:45, 9:30. So we somewhere reset it up in there. So technically we should reset it at the end of the day, and then we wouldn't get this, right? So more work to be done. There's always more work to be done. All right, so if time is greater than 1600 and time is less than 9:35, okay, we'll do it that way then. All right, how you like me now? Then count H equals 0. Well, how you like me now? Like me well enough, because it didn't reset these. All right, how come at 3:45 we start the print at 3:45? This is on 110. 3:45, 110. Time is greater than 3:45. We'll say less than 500. So at 3:45, is that the most recent one? At we got 350. 350. All these are showing 0 at 350. So how in the world is it plotting a trend line? If count H is 0. If time is after 1600 and the time is less than 9:35, I think what it's doing is it's getting confused, and so it's not doing anything. So when I say if time is greater than 4 o'clock, I'm saying that everything after 4 o'clock, and I'm saying everything before 9:35. That's not that confusing though. That's not that confusing. Time is after 1600. If time is before 9:35. Man, I tell you, that's why I love this coding stuff, man. I really do. I really do. Because you are your own worst enemy. You can be your own best friend, and you can sabotage yourself. And if you don't do better, then it's going to get the best of you. Not and or, right? So it's getting confused because it's looking for a time that is both before 9 o'clock and is after 4 o'clock p.m. at the same time. It's got to be that at the same time on the same bar, right? So that's got to be or. So or, verify, and then it's gone, right? We also lost this one because it was after 1600. But that's okay because we want what we want, right? So now we won't have any black ones. because the black ones were the ones that were supposed to be doing, pre-market hours. And yeah, don't need those. Don't want those. Okay, good deal. So, yep, I like this. I like this, and I cannot lie. Very good. Isn't that very curious though? This same level of swings. What do we do? 10. The same level of swings from a 10 to a 10. It gives us roughly the same angular trend line all the way across. Isn't that funky? That's what you call a balanced market, huh? Okay. Well, anyway. All right. So tonight we went over, we revisited this script. We made some corrections on it. So it showed you how to get through the print function to help kind of debug your issues. We worked on getting after hours plots out of your chart. We worked on adding inputs to your chart so that you can modify your chart on the fly. We looked at the display name and the tooltip that populates on the studies modification so that you can easily see what you need to adjust. And we looked at the Easy Language Utilization Monitor. We looked at a few scripts and trend lines that I've been looking at here recently. And, in regards to the ticks and how many bars you have and that kind of thing. We changed the color on some trend lines and showed how easy it is to do that. And, yeah. So, and we looked at the new kind of setup here that I have. Oh, and we also talked about how, like I said, these plots showed up perfectly on my chart during the day. But then when you look at this chart after hours, something changed. So same time frame, 5 minute. But something changed something changed. You see where those dots are there? And now when I pull up the media maker, these are where the dots were when I was trading during the day. And these look great. The ones on this chart, not so much. So I've got to figure that out. But beyond that, it's all gravy. It's all gravy. We're still learning. We're adding one more thing to our repertoire every day, every single day. I get on here and I learn something every day. Oh, and we also talked about the timer and the stopwatch today. Specifically the stopwatch, and I was going to do a little bit of something with the stopwatch, but all I was going to do was create a loop and use the stopwatch to time how long it took the loop to make it through. Do I want to play with that now? Because I don't want to hold you guys, but at the same time, I'm just hanging out right now anyway. Well, I'm really not. It's literally 11:59, so I should probably go to bed. All right, but I'm curious. We're going to do a count. We're going to do, let's do it up here. And we're going to do count. We're going to say count plus equals 1 for every bar, right? So for count, I think I can do equals 1 to 1,000. Value 1 equals count. Plot value 1. Let's see. And So up here, we're going to start a new instance of a stopwatch, and then we are going to start the stopwatch. sw.start. And then when it gets to the end of this, we're going to do sw.stop. And then we're going to print. We'll do once print SW elapse milliseconds. So pretty much this thing is going to look at 1,000 bars, and it's going to count every bar, and not only count every bar, but it's going to assign the count to value 1. All right, so I think in here I need to come back and put that in here. And then it's going to plot that value as well. And so when it gets done with that, then we're going to stop the timer, and then we're going to print to the log. We're going to print how long it took it to happen. Okay, so for count equals 1 to 1,000, we're going to count plus 1. Then assign the count to the value. Yep, that should work. Greater than or equal to 0. Okay, that should work. What? Oh, that's right. You have to do equals. Equals 0 to 1,000. Okay. What? Count plus equals. You don't like that? Do I need to put a colon at the end of that? Oh, begin. Okay. Like I told you the other day, this is my first time working with loops and arrays. You know, I haven't done that. So this week is my first time working with it, and I'm kind of getting the hang of it. So this where can I start a statement? Are you sure it can't? Value 1 equals count. That word? Oh yeah, plot 1. There we go. Okay. All right. So that is timer trial indicator. We're gonna put that on. Let's put it on the tick chart. Because there are more bars. Because when I was doing this earlier, the stopwatch literally did not work. And so now it's working. And let's see if we got a printout of $887. I think that's our number right there. 887 milliseconds for it to. Yeah, because we don't need this. What's 887 milliseconds? All right, so we're gonna. And then also it clears the print log, and then it starts a new instance of the stopwatch. Then it will start the stopwatch, and then for 0 to 1,000 bars, it will add an integer to count, which count will start off as 0. So it'll add an integer to count all the way 1,000 times in a loop, in a for loop, 1,000 times. And then when it gets done with that, it'll stop, and then it'll print how long it took for it to do that process. All right, so verify it again. And it should be working. And then we'll come over to the utilization. Yep, see? This is what we're talking about. The easy language utilization. And now it's showing you how long it's taken for it to go through that process. Which is cool because I've never looked at that before, but it looks like it's done. All right. But it gave us 0, and we know that's not right because it took longer than 0 seconds for it to do that. So I still have to figure out this this start stop timer. But it looks like it was trying to print something with this version, elapsed milliseconds. Yeah, something isn't right. Yeah, obviously I don't know how to do this, and I'm not getting sufficient results. Oh, is that right? I only printed this once, but I should have had to only print it once because this ran 1,000 times, and then we stopped it, and then we printed. We don't need to run it. We don't need to print any more than one time. Okay, well, huh. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of milliseconds. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. That many milliseconds. But how come Okay, I'm gonna have to sleep on that because it was I don't think that that's the bar. That wasn't per bar number. That was just running the stopwatch. That was just running the stopwatch. It looked like it was just running the seconds. Yeah. I don't think there's an independent bar number for every millisecond. I mean, it's running bar numbers, so clearly it's running a lot of bars. Okay, and then one more thing. So it printed the bar number, which is really high, and it took it this many milliseconds to get through what? To get through the whole thing, or just to get through 1,000? So we need to print. We need to print the count. Also, and we'll run it one more time. We said we're going to 1,000. For some reason, it ran to 1,002. I guess once it gets past 1,002, or past 1,000, it stopped adding to the counts, and it I guess it stopped adding to the counts, but it wasn't done. It didn't stop the stopwatch until we got to the end of the entire number of bars. So I feel like we should move this inside of here. But I'm not sure that's the right thing to do either, because I feel like it's going to stop the stopwatch before it gets to end. Is this where you use the word continue? Because then it should go from 0 to 1,000. It'll begin. It'll add 1 to the count. It'll add the count to value 1, and then it'll plot value 1, and then continue back to the top. Whereas if we don't put continue, I think it'll just keep coming down, hit stop, and then hit end. Hit stop, and then hit end, and then go back. So I think the continue will make it loop back first. So let's try that. That still didn't stop it. It should stop the timer when we get to 1002. When we get to 1002, this timer should have already stopped. So what did they do on the tutorial? On the tutorial, they did the same thing. They put the stop outside the stopwatch. They put the stop outside of the loop. Counter equals 1 to 100, loop to be timed. Begin, value 1 is counter, end, stop the stopwatch. Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, you see the potential flaw there, so that's another something we got to figure out. We got to figure out why that thing keeps running. So, like I said, this will help me in the future. I don't know exactly where or how, but it will help me in the future. So, guys, appreciate you for hanging out with me tonight. And we did this thing for a few hours. So, y'all get yourself some rest. And be ready to trade on Monday. MLK Day. All right, be ready to trade. Be ready to look at the charts. All right, I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.